Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Irish EV Association and the Info Circuit episode 4. You're very welcome this evening. I'm delighted to be joined this evening by Noel from myenergi, and we're going to kind of step through who myenergi are, what they're doing, all that sort of stuff. So it's a pleasure. Welcome. Hopefully everybody is enjoying themselves in terms of the previous episodes we have had. So we've had we've had ePower, we've had ourselves at the Irish EV Association. Derek and I were talking last month. And Noel, welcome to the stage. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We were talking a while ago, and you were gung ho back then. We said, hold on, we wanted you a little bit later in the year, and we said, can we have you now? And you were the fastest response I think we ever had to somebody saying, can you turn up and do a presentation? So
Sure.
It's great to have you.
What else would I be doing at 8 o'clock at night, eh?
On a lovely Tuesday evening, yes.
On a lovely
People are
Tuesday.
probably out enjoying it. To be fair, they don't want to be listening to us too much, but I kid. So it's great to have you on board. It's great to have myenergi on board as a corporate sponsor of the Irish EV Association.
Yes.
I suppose it's the type thing where we're going to talk about who you are, what you do, all that sort of stuff, where you're at, everything. And for people who are joining us live, get your questions in, ask what you want to ask as to what's going on here with myenergi. And even if it's not directly with myenergi, we'll try and answer it here this evening and go through it all at that stage. So we're going to kick off with a quick little video for people just to give you an idea of who myenergi are and what they're all about. So we're going to kick it off, and then Noel, we're going to come back to yourself and we'll kick off into a bit of a presentation, and then we'll run through it then at that stage. So here,
like most tech firms, we started with a couple of products, a good idea, but what we've built is a brand. People want change. People want clean, green energy. People want to do their part. And we just feel super proud to be spearheading that revolution.
Now, Noel, that's a powerful introduction if ever I've seen one for a company. So I hope you bring the rest of the energy to the presentation this evening.
Well, very much so. That was Jordan Brompton, one of the co-founders of the company, who is still actively in the business, along with Lee Sutton, who I'll explain a little bit further in the presentation. The company, actually, they only really born the company around 2016, 2017, and it's been a rapid growth up till 2024. I have a few slides here that I can run through to sort of show you a little bit more in depth on the company. If you want to put them up there, Matthew, I'll go full screen. Is that gone full screen?
Not yet. If you're going to try hit the what I'll do is I'll stop sharing on my side just in case I'm interfering with things, because I had stuff being shared. We'll try again there, Noel, when you're ready, and we'll see, can we get it up on the screen for people?
Is that gone up? Oh, hold on, maybe I've got to go in to do the share thing here. 1 second. Present share. Here we go. Sorry, forgive me. Getting used to the format. I think that should be probably it showing now.
We have it coming through there now. There we go.
Excellent. Right. So we now have our Zappi product on screen, and this is one of our main products of our product family, which I'll show you during the course of the presentation. The Zappi itself is the iconic Zappi, as people would know it. It's now become somewhat of a cultish item, in the sense that people follow the myenergi brand and adopt to all the products within the whole family. And we have lots of people and lots of social media groups that actually all work in harmony together, talking about what they have set up between the whole product family. But the Zappi here is one of our core products, and we believe that we're the market leader and the first world's first compatible solar compatible charger that came into the marketplace, which actually was a lot of consumers adopted very quickly, because obviously the drive with solar. So from there, we come into this industry with a purpose and a vision to actually remove barriers for a greener future. That would be a very strong strap line that we would use in many forums, and it's one that we totally believe in. It's the product suite, the families are all carbon reduction products that actually people strive and want to have, and when you've experienced them for the first time, they tend to stick with us. And we have we're pioneering the renewable industry, and we want to make sure that we work with eco-smart homes and virtual power plants and agile tariffs. These are all part of our whole mission statement that we want to actually be involved in. Technology, financial, and behavioral attitudes is the technology. We just want to do it simple. We do it well. We do it simple, and it really does. Our great value for money, long lifespan worldwide. So you can't do that by actually only producing a quality product. And we make energy easy by focusing on intuitive design. That's a key thing. So the story is Jordan that you've seen in the video there earlier on, and Lee beside Jordan here, back in 2016, basically started it from a garden shed. And well, really, that's where the story started, and I'll continue to tell you the story. The story has now led up to where we are now with the why, how, and what. We do want to remove them greener barriers. This is our core manufacturing facility that's in Grimsby in the east coast of England. But we also manufacture products here in Ireland, in Cork, and I actually seen our products being made in Cork only 3 weeks ago. Actually, the zappi's being manufactured and assembled and boxed, ready for distribution. So yeah, it's important that we get that across to the audience here in Ireland, because we're very proud with the fact that we actually contribute to the Irish economy. Another shot of the facility. Yes.
To jump in there and just say,
yes,
people probably have an assumption their charger is made somewhere that isn't in Europe. So that's very interesting to see that you're doing it here in Ireland and the UK.
yes,
It's fantastic to see that's what's been done. And I'm just going to say it's a great thing to see that it is being done in that way, that you do have it there, because it's the type thing where we all assume something like this is probably going to come from China, to be quite honest, and it's going to come in from that regard, and come in and mass market in that way. So that it's a really interesting thing, and I suppose it goes back to people probably have a thought around where a product comes from, where it's been shipped from. If we're going to look at environmental aspects of an EV and not just the cost side of things, it's a very interesting way to be able to go. Things are being done locally. That's a really nice way of doing things.
Absolutely, and even if you look at this facility that's on the screen here now, if you can look on the rooftops of all the facility on the right hand side, this is a massive solar array as well, which generates a vast amount of electricity into this production facility. Actually, this factory number 2, and it is factory number 2, because factory number 1, the building on the left, was where it started as a second draft of where it started, and then they built on the larger factory. So, and then, as I say, with the production in Cork as well, we're proud of the fact that we actually can do that. And then all the products are shipped into Europe and to Australia, all from Ireland or over in Grimsby. So these are the countries that we trade in UK and Germany and Ireland, Benelux and Australia. And the world's our oyster with regards to where we're going to go to next. But you'll be definitely seeing us branch into other countries in the very near future. So moving greener barriers for a greener future, what does that really mean? Well, actually having an interconnected community of eco-smart homes, easy to use, convenient ecosystems designed to pioneer transition in renewable energy. In essence, there's a concept called virtual power plants where when you have so many battery systems, battery and inverter systems, when they're on solar arrays, what you can do is you can connect them all together, and people then this, and we'll talk a wee bit later on about agile tariffs and the transition in the energy market. But it's more than just products. It's about the whole energy cycle for the consumer, particularly consumers that are trying to save money, and also consumers that are in the poverty, the energy and poverty cycle. So if you can see this slide here, this shows a three-dimensional home and how our apps would work with an energy platform. And we have in here, we have EV charging, we have batteries and storage, we have our power diverters in there, and we have our app. And all of this works in harmony. Microgenerations work in harmony. So therefore, the best benefit is for whoever's got the most of these micro technologies working together. They all work hand in hand to give you the best outcome for your hot water, which is a form of energy storage, your electricity, which is another form of storage, or your car, which is another form of storage. And this all plays into the agile tariffs and the agile energy market of the future. So this would be our product family. At the back there, you see our libbi inverter and battery system, which is an externally rated battery system. I'll talk a wee bit about that in a second. This harvi, zappi, harvi's on the left, a small comms device. The zappi charger comes in various colors and sizes, and then the energy power diverter. Each of them all play an individual part in connecting the home together with smart technologies. And this is the path actually that the company has taken, and you can see that we started in 2016, and from there the Eddy and the Zappi and the Harvi came out of the traps in 17, and then we started to produce other products over 2018, and then another version as we move forward. And then Ireland became incorporated, and Benelux became incorporated in 2020, and then 2021 Australia and New Zealand in 2023, with over 500,000 products shipped and a new facility of 65,000 square feet. So our products, the Zappi. So what's so special about the Zappi, you might ask, Matthew? It comes with a raft of features and benefits for the consumer and for the commercial applications. Everything from the initial design was built around solar integration. However, another key aspect of the Zappi, it has load balancing built into it. And what does that really mean? Well, basically, you tell it what the size of the maximum fuse is coming into the house, and it will never, ever pull more power than what the overall fuse capability is within the property. And that's a great aspect, because that actually not only protects the consumer, the car, and the property, but it also, it makes everybody feel that they've got a safe product in their homes. And one of the key features within this here is pay fault technology, which requires that no earth rod requires to be installed into a property whenever it's being installed. Some countries, the electrical operator might want that, but actually the product itself doesn't need it. Obviously, it's built-in Wi-Fi that allows us to connect with it remotely and do firmware upgrades and also setting upgrades with the consumers. It comes in two sizes, 7 kilowatts and 22 kilowatts. It comes tethered and untethered. Tethered comes with a 6.5 meter cable, which is longer than most other manufacturers. And the untethered, you can actually get up to a 10 meter cable, and that allows actually a great distance away from the property if the car has to be parked, one or two cars in a driveway. Is there any questions there, Matthew?
Nothing at the minute. So I say to people, get your comments in, and we'll put them up as we come to it. We had a little comment earlier on saying Made in Ireland. That's great. You know, that's fantastic to see. The thing I'm going to jump in
Great,
here and say is, I have a Zappi. So
great.
I've had one for 3 years now, since I got my first EV in 2021. And kind of the things you talk about, as so I installed it before I had solar in my house. So I looked
Yes,
at it, future proof it, and that was my intention when I went at it. I'm on the slightly older version without the built-in Wi-Fi, so I still have the likes of the Harvies and the hub in my setup to
indeed.
get it to operate as I have it. But it's
Yes,
fantastic, and as you say, the mixture of load balancing when electric showers come on, that the unit, backs off if you were charging your car, plus knowing what
yes,
solar is doing, is a great way of doing it. So I suppose my van is quite large. It uses a lot of energy. So the little bit of solar that I do put into it is not anywhere near enough to make it worthwhile in some ways. But
yes,
having said that, come the summertime now, when kids are off school and we're not doing the large amount of driving that we normally do, it's going to be fantastic to be able to kind of go, look, we're going to plug the car in the morning time instead of overnight. It's going to be during the day, funnily enough now, and we're going to let it sit on Eco Plus and just wait for that bit of excess to come along, soak it up. And in fairness, we do it at the minute at the weekends, where sometimes when it's a bit overcast, we set it back to Eco, let it run at the 1.4 kilowatts, let it just trickle away. It pulls slightly from the house battery, I suppose, is the way I would describe it, and from the solar.
yes,
Sometimes we do it because we know we're going to be gone at 2 o'clock, and we know the sun's going to come back around at that stage, that it's going to top back up the battery that's in the house with the system there. So, there's all these things that are with these systems that are just fantastic. I love the way they work from that perspective. And the one other thing I would say is, as a person who works in the semiconductor industry, and I know my electronics, the pen fault detection is very smart. I have a very good idea how you do it, but I haven't seen anything that ever has proven how I think you've done it. I have an idea of how
mhm,
you've done it, but it's a fantastic thing to see from that perspective. So, um, it's great. It's an interesting one. I love that bit of tech, and as you say, not having to have an earth rod, that capability and protection there is fantastic. So we
indeed.
have a few questions coming in before we move on as well. So we
Yes.
have, given cars now offer 8 years for their battery warranty, can this model last that long? Is the question.
Oh, indeed. We have many. We have many of our original chargers working. I wouldn't say many. We have the majority of our original chargers still operational to this day.
Excellent. And then the other question we have coming in is, which is the most popular, tethered or untethered?
Ah, interesting question. It's mostly the tethered, because people find it easier not having to plug in two plugs, as in one in the charger and one in the car, and take it out of the
Yes.
back of the car. And the ergonomic design of the actual charger allows the tethered cable to wrap around it
Yep.
and fit very snugly on the wall without it dragging on the ground. So it's the tethered is the most popular. Black tethered would be our most popular. But what I want to talk about here is, oh, sorry, is there another question there?
No, no more questions. So thank you to Gamer
Well,
Trojan and Kieran. I'll let you keep going, Noel. That's why we have for the minute. So yes, go for it.
so we've recently done a fantastic firmware upgrade on the chargers to allow it to be OCPP. What really does that mean? Open Charge Point Protocol. Basically, it allows you or anybody with a Zappi charger, not even a commercial environment, to actually set it up as a charger on your own driveway. And actually, in conjunction with a payment platform, somebody could come to your house. So just say you have it at your house, or an Airbnb, or a hotel, or any commercial application. When OCPP with a payment platform has been set up correctly, you come along with a smartphone, you scan a very secure QR code that's dynamic on the screen. It brings you to the payment platform and very seamlessly can start charging for that payment, which you have full control of. Were you aware of that?
Not myself, no. So no, it's a fantastic. I'm aware of this is coming in the market, and I suppose this is something that needs to be there. People question, I suppose, the SEAI triple E register list of why you have to have a smart charger. So it's the technology that's here in the Zappi is the reason for that, for the grants to go in this direction. I'm sure you're going to touch on more of it, to be fair, Noel, but that sort of OCPP and allowing people to actually use these in a more business-like fashion, I suppose, or maybe not so much business-like, but it's utilizing a piece of equipment that otherwise could be sitting there not doing as much. So that sort of thing is fantastic to see, and that this is coming with your Zappi, and with a firmware update. That's a fantastic way. This is a bit like people kind of go, I don't want to go back to the dealership to get my car serviced to get a software update. So being able to do that over the air, that's a fantastic way of doing things. Yeah.
Indeed, and one of the other background facilities that's going in, that's what I started off with. It's just not a car charger; it's a smart device. The charger itself. In time, we will start to see agile tariffs coming into Ireland here. We believe maybe by next year we'll see agile tariffs coming in the energy market, and these devices have software called API keys built into them that allow them to talk to the utility providers. That in time you will see, like other utility providers in GB, that they will be able to actually you'll be able to sign up with them, and they'll be able to get the most smartest, most economical tariff that the provider can provide at that time, trading energy or independently trading energy either in the day ahead market or on their own platform. So again, these chargers are not just for today; they're for the future.
Yeah. And that peak shaving is a big thing. People kind of go, EVs are the bit that's going to take down the grid, whereas actually the opposite is going to happen. And it's technology like that where it's going to allow an EV to be the point that actually protects the grid, makes it more usable, makes it where, that excess renewables that might be switched off is the problem during the middle of the day. Actually, they're going to turn around and say, no, here, start charging your car on your Zappi at home. Here's the reduced price and let it off that way. And, again, it goes back to the whole, as you say, the technology is there that makes it quite easy for the end user, I suppose, isn't it? It's the car's plugged in. You don't have to think about it. It's all been done between the charger and the energy providers.
And we probably don't also shout about our warranty enough about this facility. I'm going to explain, but it comes with a standard 3-year warranty. But actually, the homeowners, the consumers, actually at any stage can go online and extend that warranty for an additional 2 years for approximately €130. So therefore, they can do it right up until before the 3 years is up, and they just do it online themselves, and they pay online, and they would get 2 years extra protection if they had any concern over wanting to protect it. And everybody, for another effectively €65 per year, you could protect the device against any possible warranty issues. But in the main, we don't have major warranty issues, but some people just like the comfort of that.
Yeah, so some people want the comfort, I suppose. That's the way to describe it. Going by what you said already, it seems to be not an issue. So it's maybe a thing if somebody feels they might want it for their own benefit, I suppose, really is the way to put it. So yeah, as you said, you have a lot of original units still on the go. So, it shouldn't be of concern for people.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so the next product that we only brought in last year is the inverter and battery system. That actually is a fantastic product to join the product family. The libbi, it's called, is a standalone IP65 rated inverter and battery. It comes in several sizes of inverter. Two sizes: 3.68 kilowatts inverter for the panels on the roof, and also 5 kilowatt, and they can be oversized by 100 to 150%. It comes standard like what you see here now, the inverter on top and a 5 kilowatt hour battery at the bottom. You can add another 5 kilowatt hour battery to below that, which gives it then 5 kilowatt on top and 10 kilowatts on bottom. And if you really wanted to stretch your battery, we can put another 10 kilowatts of battery beside it, bringing the full system size from 5 kilowatts on the inverter to 20 kilowatts on the battery side. And this has been a fantastic product, has really taken off for us here in Ireland. We've had loads of traction with distributors and installers. It's very easily fitted. The installers like it. Aesthetically, it can go inside a utility room, a garage, a kitchen. As you see, there's no visible cables that's actually coming out the side or top of this here. And it also can be fitted outside, as it's a fully powder coated surround, and it's IP65 rated. So I fitted a couple of thousand solar systems in a previous employment, and I've never seen anything like the Libbi system until I actually joined myenergi.
Well, I was going to say I was a bit unfortunate insofar as my solar went in before this was just on the market. I was probably a little early to get this system, and I remember watching it and seeing it coming and the rumors behind it as to what was going to be there. It's a fantastic system, and it's clean. As you say, something like that is, some systems are just a bit robust looking, where something like this is a much nicer unit that sits in, as you say, the likes of a utility room. You're not going to be going in there looking at it kind of going, God, I'd love to box that thing up and just hide it out of the way. It's a nice looking unit to go into your rooms. Yeah.
And a standard facility in our Libbi is the blackout facility, which allows electricity out in the event of a failure on the system. So the electricity, a lot of other manufacturers charge extra money for that, but that's part of our facility. So what this can be done is, when it's being wired, you get your electrician or your solar installer to design it into the house that actually, in the event of a power failure, it can actually back up and drive energy to certain circuits. Low energy circuits like LED lights and fridges is the key thing that this would run. And if you have the right size of storage of batteries, you could run for a couple of days, depending on the load on a said house. These systems are very well designed. You can see here on the front display, we have again a window display similar to our other products, but actually we designed a separate controller that can be wired inside the house. So if this is fitted externally and you ever needed to change any settings, you just go to that controller, like an immersion heater controller inside the house. Looks very slick, not complicated, and all these devices talk to each other under radio frequency. I'll explain that on the next two products. And this all stitches together the information on one app on a phone, on a smartphone. And we are the only manufacturer that has inverter, battery, car charger, energy diverter, all in one application, not to confuse a homeowner. So if you had 4 different manufacturers, you would most likely have 4 different apps and not really get to see what the true story is of how your system works. And that's what we call in the industry a home energy management system, HEMS. The HEMS system is what we've been striving towards, that in conjunction with virtual power plants of the future and agile tariffs. It's about bringing all these products together to give consumers and installers the comfort that they all work in harmony. So this was one of our very early products, and it's a very, very popular product here in Ireland called the eddy power diverter. We originally had it as solar diverter, but now we call it an intelligent power diverter, because the same software signatures are in this device to talk to utility providers in the future for the agile tariffs. So in the future, we could see a device like this heating hot water at the lowest possible rate that a utility provider could actually offer any consumer that you sign up with. So whatever your utility provider here gets it into Ireland first, I think will be a market leader at actually blending in with these products. And we're already working with utility providers here in Ireland to have these software incorporated and integrated into their systems. So the power diverter, what does it do simply? It works very much so with solar. And when when the energy is not being used in the house, what it naturally wants to do is it wants to go to grid. It wants to go back out the grid. And what this device does is this more or less replaces the immersion heater switch up near your copper tank. And there's a little, what's called a CT clamp, a little clamp that goes down. It's wired into the system down near the consumer board. And when it senses energy going out to the grid, you can see here in this diagram, there's 2 kilowatts going into the house, and then a little line going over to the pylon. When it senses anything going to the grid, it says, don't go to the grid, start heating the water. So it sends the displaced energy that was meant to go to the grid up until the hot water tank, and what it always is doing is topping up your water in your tank to allow that then that the low temperature is not always having to be heated from the very lowest temperature. It's bringing it up gradually. Now, the device itself can be bypassed with a boost button to work as a standard immersion heater, and it also has built-in scheduling to allow you to actually run it as a timer. And you can see the two aerials on top of it. These aerials then communicate with the libbi system, and they also communicate with the zappi, and then they all communicate together in harmony back to the app on the phone. Any questions on that one?
Not on the Eddie. We have other stuff on other bits that we'll come back to at the end. So keep the questions coming in to people that are there. Nothing on the Eddie at the minute. I'm sure we'll get more towards the end. So we'll keep going for the minute now.
Okay, and here is the smallest of our products. Actually, this is a very, very intelligent device called the Harvi. This device actually is used very much in conjunction more so with the Eddy, but it also works with the Zappi and the Libby. But what would happen is when the Eddy is wired at the center of the house, it might be very difficult to run a cable all the way from an immersion drying room in the middle of our house all the way down to the consumer board. So this is a radio frequency wireless version of it. And what it does is the little clamp, the CT clamp, again, clamps around the live cable coming in. And it has a bit of very intelligent technology that allows it to take energy out of that cable, a bit like a wireless charging on a mobile phone today. It takes small bits of energy out of it, charges up, so there's no batteries required. And it sends packet data information over to the cloud for all of the information then to be pulled together. So it's a wireless version of having a CT clamp. Very intelligent device, very low cost, and we find that a lot of people take it because it saves a lot of installation time, particularly for the installers. They are the ones that would recommend it to many of their customers. So that's a reasonably quick run through of our four products. So the four products, as I mentioned before.
I was going to say, Noel, just to jump in there, the thing I find interesting about the Harvi unit is insofar as it's amazing. I suppose coming from the electronic side of things again, it's really interesting insofar as it is constantly communicating, constantly giving the information, and I know you're going to go through here what's on the app, but real-time information is what has been seen coming back through the app as to what goes through the systems and stuff. The fact that it's doing that in something that is just using the magnetic fields that are coming off the cables around that CT clamp to A, monitor how much is going through that cable, but B, to harvest the energy from it and actually power the device for something that's continuously running, doesn't need an external power supply. That's really, that goes to show the work that has gone into something like that device, into making it at that level. That, there's a lot of thought goes into that. You can put a CT clamp onto something and, measure it, but it needs its own power supply. These don't need that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Indeed. I would have fitted another device years ago that required batteries put into it, which the batteries actually came from China, and the batteries run out relatively quickly. And then the system started to fail and people started to lose confidence in it. So this system, as I say, never fails. It's always got energy. And you're right. And it's sending continuous real-time data to the app. But not only when you have the app here, which you see on the screen, you actually have a login on a web portal that you can log into as well, and you can actually have more facilities in the login for the portal. So much so you can download all your data into Excel format, and then you can analyze your data if that's what you wish to do. And some people are actually very, very thorough. I mean, I applaud the take up in microgeneration here in Ireland, because everybody's wanting to do the right thing for a greener future. And then also, and the second part is obviously making a saving by investing in renewable energies, which is one of the most emerging sectors in the marketplace over the years. So here we have the app, and this is relatively simple. The leaf is the ecosystem, the holistic ecosystem. We see the house is at the very top, which is drawing 0.5 kilowatts. To the right is the pylon. There's no energy coming in from the grid whatsoever. We have from the solar system in green, 3.3 kilowatts of energy coming into the ecosystem, and it's diverting down to the car 2.2 kilowatts to the zappi to charge the car. Over at the left in orange is the battery taking 0.6 kilowatts in the libbi system. And there on the top left is the hot water tank, which is not drawing anything, which means it must be at temperature or it's not calling for energy. And what's really slick about this app is it's only all in one app. It's very simple interface to use, but on the 3 devices on the left-hand side, if you press and hold either one of them, you can prioritize and tell it to put the energy to a car, put the energy to the battery, or put the energy to the hot water. It is actually very, very suitable to interact with. And as I say, you can see the same thing on a login on a portal. So we are, as I stipulated, that we are the only manufacturer that has all of these items on one application from one manufacturer. So let's just see. DSR, demand side response. This is back to the agile tariffs. This is where if and when it's talking to a utility provider, the utility provider will know when it's calling for energy to charge the car. However, if there's too much load in that area currently being drawn, it will actually be able to take control of the zappi and reduce the demand side response. Which means actually it's actually saving the grid, it's protecting the grid, it's protecting the stable supply to the homes. So therefore, as a device, it's looking after not just your home, but it's looking after all the homes in your in your local area.
So no,
okay.
So a couple of questions that to go back to that one, we'll just say before we move on, and kind of there's a few who have come in, so I'm going to kind of jump between them here a small bit. The demand side response, as you say, and as you talk about the home and the bigger picture side of things. So, a few questions here. Given the possible public use, what's the max length of cable that comes with the zappi?
The max length of cable when it's untethered is 10 meters, and the standard cable fitted is 6.5 meters.
Okay. And then the other question that kind of came in just as we were coming off the other bit of it was, I hope the app and all connected devices and comms are protected and encrypted.
Oh, very much so, yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we've had pen fault protection tested on these devices, and it's at the highest level of encryption.
Excellent. Perfect. There's more questions there. We'll come back to them again in a bit, so we'll let you keep going, Noel.
That's grand. That's not a problem. So being a responsible company, you'd expect us to obviously have a concern over sustainability, and that we certainly do, not only for the customers, but obviously for the environment. And everything that we do within our operations and how we run our business, we have the highest level of corporate social responsibility. Our standards are ISO 9001, 14001 and 45001, which is our health and safety, our environmental and our management standards. You'd expect that only of a company of our size, and we totally are into designing products to reduce and decarbonize the world, and we're doing that step by step. And we're making, after now distributing over 500,000 products worldwide, I think we're making a great contribution to a greener future. And within our product circularity, we run exactly the same attitude. We have a green agenda with all processes right throughout our whole manufacturing cycle. So customer care, Trustpilot, and our app, we get 4.5 stars. We constantly rate our customer care and our response. We have a full team of technical backup people here based in Ireland. 95% of our inbound customer care calls are commonly commissioning calls where an installer who's got a busy enough day ahead of them hasn't got the time to actually in the main go through it thoroughly. So actually many of the homeowners call us directly and we walk them through many of the commissioning steps, step by step, which we're very happy to do so. And that is all part of our are purchasing of a zappi. So there's lots of hidden benefits in behind what I was saying earlier on, particularly with the zappi and all the features. You have this excellent customer support, a very strong warranty, that we don't have to invoke much whatsoever. And we're very proud of our score with regards to Trustpilot. So marketing, we do an awful lot of marketing here in Ireland and GB. You may see it a lot on socials and various campaigns and trade shows like the SEAI show, which we recently had a stand at, and it was probably one of the busiest 3 days I think that I've had in a long time. But we're always promoting the products to the end user consumer, to the installer, and to the distributor. So we support all the people trying to get the right product into the right environment. The libbi is just one of our campaigns that we've done, and that was successfully launched last July and has been very successful right up to date. Actually, our first campaign generated over 8,500 interests. We do lots of advertising in the distributors, lots of main independent and main large multi-outlet distributors, and we work with all of them with all of our products, and that's where we refer most of our inquiries that come directly to us. We refer them back out to our distribution channel partners. We also sponsor local associations, particularly yourselves is one of them, and the Micro Renewable Energy Federation as well, and then local schools and colleges. So we are a local company trading manufacturing here locally, and we also like to reinvest back into the local marketplace. Our awards, just coming to the end here, we have won numerous awards, particularly for the zappi is our gold line product, and really it does what it says in the tin. It's a strong, robust, reliable product that people time after time, and if you check any of the socials here in Ireland, you find that lots of people talk about zappis and how good they are, and lots of people who have them refer them out, a bit like yourself. So I'll stop that sharing now, and I'll just come out. Matthew, press escape. Let's just see if I can come out of this and come back to yourself. Oh, I can finally see you. But I don't know. Could you see me? Did you see me during that, or just the presentation?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been keeping an eye on everything. Don't worry, Noel. And
very good.
When I turned the cameras off when you were looking the other way, and just made sure people didn't see the back of your head or something. So no, it was fantastic. Thank you very much. That was brilliant. I'm going to say I might just share a tab, and we might just show people as to Derek, and before Derek gives out to me, it wasn't my idea. This was Noel's idea. So Derek isn't here this evening. So we said, you know what? What's better than sharing Derek in all his glory,
indeed,
and making sure he gets his pride of place. So we're going to give Derek his dues here this evening.
We're looking at the number one EV charger in Ireland, the Zappi from myenergi. Comes in two different variants, a 7 kilowatt and a 22 kilowatt. And it also comes tethered, which means with the cable, or like this one, untethered, which means you plug your own cable in. Also comes in two different colorways, this classic white. You can also get a black cover for it. You just pop off the white one and then pop on the black one. So you've got two different versions on it. The Zappi from myenergi was the first solar and wind turbine compatible charger on the market. It has three different charging modes, Eco, Eco Plus, and Fast. So you can pick all that. And there's a seamless integrated app as well that you can download for Android and iPhone. It also has smart dynamic load balancing. If you want to charge your car during the night, you can schedule it to whatever time you want. So for example, 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. So if you're on a tariff, you can avail of that. There's a PIN code available for security as well. So if it is accessible to the public, there's a recent OCPP firmware update that allows landlords and business owners to enable pay-per-charge. Today we're looking at the number one EV charger in Ireland, the Zappi.
Now, thank you, Derek. We don't need to go around with Derek again. Now, that's a fantastic little video. It just gives the people an idea as to what is there, what's going on with it. Again, Derek, Nevo, EV Review Ireland, fantastic channel as well to go take a look at stuff there from that side of things. We've come to some of the questions. So coming back on, any plans for curbside adaptations when it comes to the Zappi? I'm going to say this is referring to.
So what was that? Any side for a curbside adaptation?
So I'm thinking it's probably like the likes of the pedestal maybe something beyond that.
Yes.
What have you got there to give people an idea from that side of things?
It's interesting because it's actually one of the challenging topics that is about. Obviously, we're a car charging manufacturer, but there are people coming up with various concepts of how to cross the curb to get to the car. I've actually seen a hanger system that actually hangs out, and I've also seen a system where people have actually been able to track the curb. I know lots of councils are reviewing this for the future and how they're looking at adopting a particular system, like a little flap and the cable goes along. And the key thing with charging, obviously off your driveway, when it's on your driveway, it's private, it's in your house, but not everybody has a driveway. So it's trying to get a solution to go from the let's say a terrace property across a curb to your charger. And there are many people that we're actively trying to work with to understand what would be the best solution adopted for the future.
Excellent. Going to throw in the next question. That's well, not a question. Very informative presentation. You should shout from the rooftops that you are Irish made. Yeah, I think I'm the same. When you told me this evening, I kind of went, sorry, what? So no, that's definitely something that people probably want to know. It's probably something that you can do a bit more on, because it's fantastic to be aware of it and that it is there. It gives people that bit of, it's nice to see it. It's a fantastic thing. So I agree. You should be shouting a bit more about being Irish made, to be fair and all. In the next marketing campaign, maybe maybe the next one, Made in Ireland, should be your guaranteed Irish should be in the corner there or something. It's a good logo to go with it, maybe.
Indeed. We have to look at various things like that.
Yeah. So presentation done. It was fantastic. Thank you very much. I suppose to go through a few things that, there's always the kind of question as to where things stand with yourselves and where you see maybe things in the future, that sort of stuff. So can you give us an idea of the market overview? What's the current state? What do you see as you say, you're a charge point manufacturer. You're not doing CPO side of things, but what do you see when you look at the market at the minute?
Well, the market has been a growing market now for since 2008. I've just put a slide up here now, and you can see there that the market has grown from effectively 1,200 units back in 2018, and we predict this year it's going to be in excess of 27,000. And we're leading with the market with regards to the products and the market share. We are very, very comfortable. We've seen a massive influx of, without criticizing too much, but Chinese variations at lower cost. And there's that old adage, buy cheap, buy twice. We're also seeing that, and that obviously supports when we get rebuys. And we're proud of that, because actually many people, even the questions coming through here, asking how long did the chargers last? As I say, the company has only been trading from 2016 effectively, and there's the majority of chargers still operational to this day. But yeah, we see the market actually it's a growing market year on year. It's flattened off its last couple of months. We think that might be just the difference between early adopters, and then it'll actually go back into another growth spurt. It obviously always needs government support to keep that active, and we would always lobby to make sure that government is always supporting the grants on the cars, and the grants on the chargers and the grants on solar. This all works in harmony together. But yeah, we suspect there could be in essence over 27,000 BEV sales this year, which would then show a very strong emerging market
with it. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I suppose for yourselves, how do you see it with your position, your market position, when you look at it then from that perspective?
Well, for us, as I say, we like to think we're the market leader in this chosen market that we serve in. And the key, other than the key features that I mentioned earlier on about the product, I come back to we're the only manufacturer that's doing all the product suite under one app, and that is a key selling point that differentiates us from us and other people in the market in this space.
Okay, I suppose to me the interesting thing that has happened behind myenergi, and going back even a few years for myself when I picked one up, was the differentiation of what she had. And the product, even at that stage, it was basically just a zappi really at that stage. The libbi hadn't come along. The Eddie was there, don't get me wrong, but the zappi, from my perspective, as what I was looking at, was a fantastic bit of kit that even at that stage, what was there already was great. Is it, in my world, it's first to market, it's product differentiator, it's all these sort of things are the kind of metrics that you're trying to get there. What have you felt has been the thing that you've felt has been the bit that's given you the success?
I think the first to market is very, very true, and then everybody tries to follow you. So we didn't rest on our laurels. Obviously, when the company first obviously launched, in the sense of its product build and testing, it was all done at a smaller scale. The facility now, that one of the things that we're very proud on, and what we do differently, I think, from other manufacturers, is a lot of manufacturers only a bench testing stage at the point where they're going to put it into the box. A lot of them test or sample test 1 in 5 or 1 in test. We actually full function test every item for 5 minutes before it goes in the box. So we know when it goes in the box, it's going to work when it gets to your home. And that's a key positive attribute to how we want to respect our customers who actually, part with good money to buy our products.
Which is very interesting because, again, in my own work and role, testing every part that you send out the door is time consuming and costly. So that's, there's two sides to testing every product, and the big one in our side anyway is cost. That's the big thing where we kind of go, we can't test everything. You have to trust that a random sample is probably good enough. So testing everything before it goes out the door is that's a big overhead from your side of things to kind of guarantee what's going out the door. So that has to be that leads into quality of product has to be there when somebody gets it, and confidence. I suppose that's a fantastic thing from that side of things. That's very interesting to see that you are doing that. Kind of a bigger company or somebody who's looking to make it more cost effective on their side probably won't do it that way. But again, I think indeed, from your side, that's you're looking after the customer is probably the important thing. I suppose that's the way to put it.
I mean, that's the hidden costs in manufacturing and service and quality, where obviously then when people go to market, and they start pricing products, there are different demographics for different reasons, for different price points. We don't want to be perceived as the cheapest in the market. We want to be seen as the best quality in the market for the best value.
Yes, and then I suppose, best quality, best in the market, customer feedback and innovation. Then how do you look at what comes back in from the customers and what they say? How do you plan that going ahead? How do you look to the future then? Because there's a lot here. What's to come, I suppose. No.
Well, we're always conducting surveys and market research with our customers, and as I say, we have a lot of them to do that with, and there's many people that want to be strongly involved with us from a customer aspect, and they will feedback various things that helps us do minor firmware upgrades behind the scenes, where we get lots of feedback where people want minor changes done to some of the software and step throughs. But we have things like even our YouTube videos. If you go to YouTube and write myenergi help desk, you actually find 20 commissioning videos that help people actually understand how to get the best out of our products. But as I said, there between Ireland and GB there in our inbound call centers, most of our calls are majority of commissioning rather than actually faults. So that leads us on to say, one, we've got a stable, reputable product. Two, in the sense of innovation, they give us lots of great ideas. I mean, fantastic feedback from customers is fantastic. Well, innovation, that's what we call the secret sauce, and we can't let too much of that out. But we will without a doubt have new products for the future. Is probably what I can say. And once we do, we'll make sure that we let every customer know about it as quickly as we can do.
Excellent. I suppose it's interesting. You talked about very early on in the presentation that people have been following myenergi as to what's gone on. I dare to say it's almost been like the iPhone in the charger world, insofar as people have been following it to similar extents. Not to downplay other manufacturers out there, but people have really latched on to what myenergi does. I think it's the type thing that it's been very interesting to see the progression over time. So what's coming next, that's going to be interesting to see what's going to come. That's an interesting one. No.
Well, when we done the libbi launch, we done a teaser video and didn't really tell too many people about it at the start. So we'll certainly be coming out with some teasers in the very near future.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for those. So the last thing I'm going to touch on, and because I'm conscious of time as well, and we don't want to go too late for people, is let's come back to I'm going to stand over the Irish made, the sustainability behind the manufacturing facilities, all that sort of stuff. Let's wrap up on that side of things for the end of the conversation. Give us the sustainability, give us a quick little overview again of what's there, but also let's say, drop my phone. Let's say what's to come. Is there innovation in your sustainability? No.
Well, there is. We actually we approach sustainability with actually 6 goals effectively, and our footprint is one of them. Doing less harm, measuring our environmental impact. That's key to everything that we do as part of our manufacturing. We also want to make sure, as part of our footprint, that we create really supportive workplace, and our facility is world class in the sense of how our people are incorporated within it and enjoy working there. And we also embed very responsible business practices to make sure it's what you would expect of a company of our size. To obviously have great integrity and true to people's values and life and whatnot. And then the other side of it is the handprint. We've got to respect planetary boundaries there, and climate change. That's forever something that's going to affect all of us and our grandchildren of the future. So that hand in hand would go along with making sure that our social values with our employees, our customers in our community, and even our supply chain partners, all of these things are very important to our company. But enabling like a totally renewable transition is where our focus is. And that is really all in all how we would recap from a sustainability point of view. We want to make sure that we protect the future world really for our grandkids, and we'll not be here, but somebody's going to be here that's linked to us, and we want to make sure that they enjoy it.
So what you're saying, I think there, Noel, is grandkids are going to be using the original Zappies. Is that what it is? They're still going to be going strong.
Not just grandkids, great grandkids.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Noel. That was a fantastic conversation and presentation to go through it and to see what's going on. So thank you very much. That was brilliant. So thank you, sir. That was fantastic. So, folks, that's it for this evening. We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you again to Noel for talking to us from myenergi and giving the outlook there. I'm sure you can see as to what's going on from myenergi. There's a lot going on there. Again, highlighted the evening, Irish made. That's one that I didn't know beforehand, and I kind of have to go, this is fantastic. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the input. And we will be back again next month, all going to plan for episode 5 of the Info Circuit. No announcements yet as to what it will be. Keep an eye on our social media and our events page to see what's coming there. And from that, thank you very much, everyone. And we'll talk to you all next time.